Well, I wasn't planning to make another video on the Violent Slayer, but you know what? Hakita has forced my hand with, well, the Gutterman video, obviously. And, I've already said that I would make another video once enough has come out, and I have 5 things now, so you know what? I think that's good enough to make a full video on, so, yeah, why not? Let's get into it. We'll be going from basically the time it was released. So basically, I'll go with like the music, the screenshots, the extra stuff, and then the Gutterman video. Alright, sounds good? Cool. And I'll also give my opinions on everything as we go through. First up is the song Suffering Leaves, Suffering Leaves. Now, this song is obviously very melancholic. I mean, it's clearly sad. I've also heard that people have heard, like, leitmotifs in this. Maybe potentially an order leitmotif. I can't exactly pinpoint where, but people have been saying, like, oh, there's a leitmotif in this song. I can't find it, so I can't prove that. Second, for the visual aspect, this is clearly referencing for Dante's Inferno, the Suicide Forest. So basically, like, when a person ends their save game, basically in Dante's Inferno, they're turned into trees, and, like, parts of the trees, like branches and stuff, are torn off, basically. Like, they didn't respect their bodies and stuff. You know what I mean. This is clearly a reference to that, and we can see that this is going to be the song for 7-3. So, it makes a lot more sense because 7-1 isn't actually inside of the Violent Slayer. It's on the outside, kind of like, basically, an intermediate zone between heresy and violence. The 7-2, Light Up the Night, is inside of the Violent Slayer, as seen by the Blood River, and is the first layer or part of the Violent Slayer, and the Suffering Leaves is the second part of the Violent Slayer, and the third part I'm pretty sure is a giant desert, so I would like to see how that is implemented for the boss fight. But yeah, the song is very melancholic and sad. And next up, the Gutterman. Well, not exactly the video yet, as Hakita only posted this reference drawing, and for all of you guys who saw the original image and were like, that's gotta be a chain gun guy, you were right. So now we have the chain gunner from Doom officially in Ultrakill, and he's a little beefy, right? He's a little chubby. He's got this weird, like, it looks like a submarine helmet, like a deep diving helmet or something, or maybe like a mine that's just like strapped on. He's got a shield, which we'll find out later actually blocks projectiles, and a gun. Very interesting gun. Yeah, I also very much like how he's stylized. He just looks amazing. How do I explain this? He's just really cool looking, and we'll get to see him later in the actual game. But before that, we've got 2 other things to look at. First is something not actually specific to the Violent Slayer. It's just a little bit of a interesting movement tech thingy. Cue the clip. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, wall sliding is a thing now in Ultrakill. I can't believe it. This does make me a little bit concerned on how slam storage works now. Like, accidentally you'll press, like, control on the side of a wall and you'll accidentally wall slide instead of trying to do slam storage. So, it's interesting, but I wonder how they're going to implement it and, like, how you're actually going to have to do it. So, I'm just curious, and it also is like really cool. It reminds me a lot of Titanfall. We're just going even further through with just amazing movement tech. I'm glad that it's not like perpetual, like you don't just stick to the wall, you actually fall off, but it's still an amazing mechanic. and I love it. And I can't wait to see Ultrakill montages use this constantly. And last up is this goofy little image. You know, kind of goofy, right? Exit painted with blood. There's some tracks, some rail tracks going into the collapsing building. I'm assuming this is in 7-1 towards the very end, so that'll be interesting. I have been seeing that the Violence Layer is using the trains a lot more. Like there are a lot of there's a lot of train usage in the Violence Layer, which I'm very happy about. I think that honestly it was underused, and I'm glad that it's coming back in the Violence Layer. Lastly is the Gutterman video. Now, obviously, as soon as you first boot this video up, you can see that V1's on a train, and this is also clearly in 7-2, if it wasn't obvious enough from the song playing in the background, and, well, the giant objects in the background. But, you know, the train keeps going, and you hit this barricade. I like the barricade idea, it's really cool. But you go in, you fight these two guttermen, which we can actually now see in action. The machine gun does 10 damage, which is pretty reasonable, right? Only 10 damage, because, you know, he's literally spraying bullets at you. It would be unfair if it did, like, 25 or something, so 10's reasonable. I don't know what this Knuckle Blaster thing is. I think it's just, like, breaking the shield or making him exposed for a while. But, yeah. I'm actually surprised that the rocket launcher works on these guys. I would have thought that it would just bounce off like Maurice. But, nope, it works on these guys, which is cool. And, they have the cutest little death animation. Look at that bonk. They just fall over. It's hilarious. And you're fighting these two guys in front of what appears to be a kind of bureaucratic building. I don't know what it is, but, you know, it just looks like it's a government building. Also, I would also like to point out in the very right part of the screen, there's a little terminal which allows you to open the barricade blocking the train. And in the background, it seems to be the starting position where you originally encountered the Gutterman from the Light Up the Night video, which is really cool. I think that's amazing that you get to see it all the way back there. Really interesting. In the beginning of this video, we also get to see the kind of grass and ground of this layer, and it's very gray and dead. Like, nothing's alive here. And honestly, that makes sense. It's the Violence Layer. Everything's killing itself or each other. So, yeah, if there's anything I missed or you would want to point out, or any theories you'd like to make, put it in the comments. I read every single one. And, subscribe, because, please, I beg.